Okay, MLB dropped, I guess, news on Friday covering some of the stuff for 26. For the record, I did see it. I just didn't care. Reason being, when it comes to game development and games inner workings of stuff, especially like initial drops and stuff that came out 4 days ago, apparently. It's a Thursday, whatever. Sorry. Didn't talk about it. Want to deal with finest stuff. But when it comes to this stuff like this, I'm very skeptical. I saw other people talking about it, so other people sort of share their 2 cents on it, people who work with them, and I've shared my thoughts on guys in this community who work with SDS who I have my qualms with it. And for the record, SDS, if you ever do reach out, I will deny working with you because I don't think I could do what I want to do, which is basically critique in a way without compromising my critiques. And I've said that before. I'm sure there are fine people who do work with the company and all this stuff, but I think a lot of, I'm going to be honest, and I've stated this from the beginning, when it comes to a lot of things that we've seen critiqued in this, in especially specifically in this game with other creators, I do think the biggest critiques are those that, to me, as the guy who probably plays this more casually than the majority of content creators, okay, the ones who, granted, my hours in this thing are way high because I leave it on a lot and do other stuff. But when it comes to like actual playing, I am not the most hardcore of players. I am more on the casual side. I lean more offline than do online. So when it comes to a lot of the critiquing of this game, it's very going to be heavily on the comp side, the online side, which is why I talked about switch hitters not being as bad as everybody says they are. People who, and this is just my opinion, complain about the shrinking of the PCI on sliders outside, where I've said in Twitter and in tweets, want to solve the problem? Don't swing at it. Again, I've talked about my experiences being an actual left-handed hitter, and one of the things we do is you either have to fully commit to that slider outside or you let it go. Letting it go, perfectly valid. Solves a lot of your problems when it comes to that kind of stuff. Just saying, and again, I had said this before, when it comes to that being the biggest critique, I have not personally, my online play, even in Weekend Classic events, I have not seen these mythical all switch hitter lineups. I don't think they exist. I think it's just people wanting to critique and make points that aren't there. But I digress. But when it comes, I do want to talk about what they said here. Truth be told, if you've already read it or heard about it, it is essentially nothing burger. There is nothing here other than, hey, we hear your stuff. Sure. Take that for what you think it is. I'll believe it when I see it, I guess, at this point. It says, so first off, it says, thanks for the big year. Our mission's always been to create a baseball experience that resonates with everyone from longtime vets to brand new players. Picking up for the first time, and this year our team brought fresh new ways to enjoy the sport you love. And it talks about development, while, Diamond Dynasty and Diamond Quest Weekend Classic. I think both of these are very okay in the end. Diamond Quest, I'm going to say this with Diamond Quest, if they can work it a little bit better, I think you'll be fine. I think people who love Diamond Quest are those who love the idea of like the constant grind almost. I know this is going to sound like a very weird thing, but it's something I noticed when my roommate and I were both playing Time Stranger. He's one of those guys where he likes to min-max, he likes to grind, he likes to do the littler things to get you going. I'm kind of not. I kind of go, and then once I feel like I need to, I will. I think Diamond Quest works that same way. I think for those who are just like, hey, cool, I'm going to grind this a couple times, do this for a day, get the cards, then sell the cup, then do it a couple more times, sell the cards when I get them. It works. But I think for the majority of people, I think it's very mixed to mixed negative in terms, like if I had to compare it to Steam terms. For that reason, sometimes it feels like the juice isn't worth the squeeze. However, now it's very much just like a stub making machine because I was looking because I'm still behind on some other collections I didn't do during the summer. Those cards that you need are combined are like 120K for the summer. So they're high price cards that aren't coming down because clearly no one's playing Diamond Quest, or at least they're not. They're playing and holding once and not playing to sell, which is fascinating. Weekend Classic, I think they this might have been overhyped to a certain degree. I think there's ways to make it better. I think cutting it from 6 games in 3 or 4 days, not doing full 9-inning games would be better. But again, we'll kind of see how things go, and they talk about some of the tech. So this is the stuff they talk about. So last year, amended information earlier in the season. They want to do that forward. So here's some of the stuff they're talking about. Gameplay. I think gameplay felt fine. There's some stuff that was very bad. So this is when they say advanced logic and new data matchers. I don't know what that really means. Defining ratings, pitch effects, and bat ball physics. I much prefer, in terms of this stuff, I'd much rather see better routes to balls from infielders. One of the things I notice, especially like with this reaction meta now, is guys don't go to the ball correctly. And I know people have seen it if you play or you've had it happen to you. Guys take unnecessarily sharp angles to balls, and I think that's one way they're trying to be like, well, the reaction's low, but I'm like, and I caught that in the video where I'm like, his angle's wrong. Like, that's not like a bad jump. That's him going parallel to the ball. But we'll kind of see. Redefining ratings. I don't necessarily know what that means. Are they going to make it so they're not hyper fixating on one to bump up stats while keeping everything low? Pitch effects. I guess you're going to see harder breaking pitches and bat ball physics. I'm guessing this is going to fix the line drive almost issue where it's like balls don't act correctly. Like a lot of sinking line drives seem to hang up. Like a lot of pitches seem to hang in the air more than they probably should. Now in later packs, we've seen that in here. Road to the Show. I haven't played it. I might do it to wind down the year just to keep stuff going so we can see stuff. But the sweet new calls. So for 26, they have more colleges, which I figured, and a focus to the mid-late career, which is good because this is where you tend to fall off, at least in franchise. In franchise, they said deeper, more immersive challenge systems shaped by community feedback. From the little bit I played of franchise, the thing I think I'd want, I think in terms of contracts, that needs to be reworked, tweaked to a certain degree, only because I think there needs to be a little bit more give and take with it, because I noticed I could offer the most, and it happened even in the other games. It was like I offer the most money, and I would lose the coin flip, and it'd be 60-40 every time. So there's smaller stuff like that. The challenge system, I think that'd be good. A little tap would be great. Would be good. I think this is something we needed. Negro Leagues is coming back. That's really good. They did mention that was the last, or this year would have been the last year. So clearly they got an extension, which was huge. So this is good. That stuff is great. Overlook Legend, so that's good for them. And then they're talking about getting back in for these now and later packs. This guiding report that's coming out tomorrow, being Tuesday, alongside it's the 11th inning program on the 21st. So that's in 11 days from now and all that stuff. And then when do I get it on the 26th? They'll usually do it a little bit later. So you get a lot of packs. I didn't really pull much from, but make sure you do it. And it looks like you're getting 5 if you subscribe by the end of the week. So that's all fine and dandy. Now, I want to switch gears here. And again, because I said that was mainly a nothing burger, sweet, we're listening. I do want to mention some of the stuff that I think needs to be worked on briefly. There's not a lot, but it's a lot of the smaller things. And this is just me being me. One thing I do miss is when it comes to like these last collections, I wish that we had an updated one for these. Biggest reason, and I sort of touched on this, is like if you're missing stuff or just didn't really do a lot of it. So like here I am with this. I need 4 more cards. So I could knock it down to 2 if I finish the mini seasons. But I still need these 2 guys, and these are the guys I'm talking about. Their buy now is kind of high. It's 140K. Willie May. I mean, I guess honestly, I could just buy Willie Mays and Jackson for 60 and call it a day. It's probably the better way to do it. To get Adley, to get John Don, to get Jose Batista. I kind of wish these 2 got added on to at least the last one. For the most part, that's a minor thing. Like these postseason stuff, it's like just throw it in there. It's the end of the year. Does it really make a difference at the end of the day? It might not. Who the heck knows? I think these kind of got a little wacky, to be honest with you. Like these adding ons, because what ultimately, and I notice it more with new threads. I think now they've come down. But like these lower diamond, no, they're still like buying now is like 20K. Putting a buy order in is 11K. These prices never really came down, which was interesting. These guys slightly to a degree did, but I think this is more so people not playing versus anything else. I didn't notice the drafts. I never got the Angels one. He's still 82. Jesus criminy. So clearly we're seeing weird fluctuations. Another big sort of like one with this was this guy, Kyle Schwarber, who was still at, well, he's 27. He's dropped, but he was up for 100 for a while. 28. So these guys have come down, but that was kind of rough. I know they implemented it where you didn't have to lock it in, so that helped to a certain degree, but it still was just like, golly, we got to block some stuff in here. The My Journey stuff was fine. I think Team Affinity felt weird, but I think the problem with Team Affinity the last couple of years, and this might just be a me thing, when it's back to like 30, it makes things very, very daunting. Like I kept up on my Angels one, so mind you, I'm only at halfway because the leap from finest to the end is a ton, which is fine. I don't even know what like the finest thing was. Was there a moment? No, there wasn't. There was only the one moment, right? I don't think there was. Journey to Finest, you get some more other stuff from doing it, and then Clubhouse stuff. I think revamping this could be a little bit better. This stuff seemed kind of weirdly it seemed weirdly front loaded because it was like, hey, get to this and then wait and then keep going, then you can get to this and then get to that. And I think they understood that was kind of difficult, because reason here is if you sort of see here, 50K for that, 200,000 points right there. I mean, that doesn't get you all the way, but if you got to like, if you basically played up to there, you'd have 255,000, which is here right before doing any missions. So I wonder if this will get revamped to at least a degree where it doesn't feel like it's just mindlessness almost. I don't know how to describe it, but it felt like trying to do it passively didn't really work, because I don't know how to describe it. It just didn't feel like there was a lot of like passiveness you could do with this. Like you had to be somewhat diligent, and I don't know if people want to be somewhat diligent. But again, I think that comes from 30 of these, not 6 of these. And I don't know necessarily if they should go back to the 6 or keep it this way. Because the reason why I'm saying I think the 6 may be more beneficial, one, it gets this done faster, or if they want to do 30 of the My Journeys and keep the subsets in terms of 6, that might be different, only because like the only reason I say that is I think if you were just to load up on one and just put stuff there with like make this a uniform pack and then just sort of extend this a little bit more, maybe it would feel a little bit like you could do things without having to be hard focused on it. I don't know the answer to it, but between that and the collections felt the same way. Now, the biggest one I think that we all can talk about is they killed events. Events are dead. There is nothing to do here at this juncture. There are no rewards. It sometimes ties into something else, but there's no reason to do events. BR, I think, is headed to a similar fate at this point, which is unfortunate. But they put the reward seemingly in Weekend Classic, So BR is going to take that step back. In terms of ranked, I know people kind of whine and complain at the multiplayer, and I even sort of thought I made a video on it. Did that kill it? I don't know if it necessarily killed it, but I think it made it more applicable and easier to get for other people. And again, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I think the ladder format's kind of rough and dumb to begin with because you only have to play a certain amount of games to get there. But a lot of people say, well, we can classic fix that competitive edge. Sure. But I think there's things to be worked on, but we'll sort of see how all of this plays out. I'm not trying to critique everything yet. I'm sort of taking everything with a grain of salt. And the only reason I'm really talking about it is because it seemed pertinent to talk about and combining two things into one, especially with we're reaching the back end of this. And at a certain point, it's just going to be speculation and stuff. And all this stuff sort of coming as we wind down the back of the year anyway. We already know the game's probably going to go on sale here soon. Last year at this time, it was the PlayStation, one of the games they gave out for free. So I'm assuming we're going to see something similar. Who really knows? But at this point in time, it's just a matter of we know where we're headed with this. The last inning's coming next week. So if you're going to be coming at the end of the month. So if you're behind, you're going to get that Kickstarter anyway. And at this point, this is where a lot of people sort of take the foot off the gas pedal if they haven't already. Finest is here. The finest stuff is probably going to be tapering anyway by the end of the month anyway. So in terms of where you're headed for, you're kind of just waiting for more stuff. And we're not probably going to get stuff realistically until the first of the year. So there's sort of the brief overview of everything we got. And again, I'm just mainly talking about this just because everybody else was. And I think sometimes just throwing it out there to the wind kind of helps. And again, was the stuff that we got anything? No, it's nothing burger. It really was, if you sort of look at it. But iterating and just stating what I think needs to be changed, at least on a small level, and what I've been hearing, hopefully makes the game a little bit better. What will it be in 26? Who knows? A lot of people are speculating who the cover athlete is. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think the colors mean jack diddly squat. If it's orange, I know some people are saying, oh, it could be Juan Soto. It could be X, Y, and Z. I don't think we're going to know. If they do, we'll know back then. So we'll know in the future. But hang on, because we are on the transition road from actual gameplay to news breakdowns, which will all be covered here on this channel. So if you're wanting to keep up with all that stuff, leave a like, comment, subscribe. So that's where you're gonna get it. Within the day it drops or two, because we're headed that direction. So with all that being said, my name is Speck. I'll see you back here tomorrow for the finest program. Until then.